Hey everybody, it's Ian the Off Kilter Crafter. I hope you're having a great day today. I'm going to take a break from my crafting videos and revisit a subject that I talked about 2 years ago. If you haven't seen that video, I'm going to put a link to it down in the description below. And I'm going to be talking very candidly. So this is probably going to be word vomit again like it was with that video. But I do want to speak openly and candidly about the subject. And again, the biggest thing is to let everybody know you're not alone. When you're dealing with loss, you're not alone. When you're going through the emotions of dealing with that, and you're not alone with the depression that happens with it, the daily depression that happens because of everyday life. So I'm always here, and I want to share my experiences with you. You'll have to excuse the cat. He was apparently hungry while I'm trying to record this video. And that does remind me that not only is this about people that we lose, but also animals that we lose, because they are a part of our family and they do steal a piece of our hearts. So this doesn't even really have to do with just humans, it can also be animals as well. So for those of you who are new to my channel or didn't happen to see the first video, it's called Dealing with Loss. About 2 years ago, I lost my father. He was diabetic and wasn't taking good care of himself and ended up passing because of complications of that, which was really hard on my family, but also in a way it was kind of a relief, because in his later months, he was not doing well at all. He was having to have somebody take care of him a lot, and it was just putting a strain on my mom and I. So in a way, with his passing, it was a relief because he wasn't suffering anymore, and also it helped to free up my mom and I's mental health as well, because we weren't having to deal with having to take care of him. Side note, I'm finding myself stumbling through my words here because we always want to be very PC. And I think that's a part of the stigma that comes around death, is we want to be PC with that person or PC with their life or whatever. And even if it wasn't the best of life, you want to, for some reason, everybody turns it into something that maybe it wasn't. And I don't mean to say that that's the case here, but I am saying that even when it seems like when people are horrible people in real life, everybody wants to make them a better person in their passing. It's hard to say that, and that may come across way more harshly than what I mean it to be. But I think a lot of you have had experiences where you know somebody or know a situation similar to that, so I think you understand what I'm talking about. My dad was a superhero to pretty much everybody but his own family, and it really hurt whenever I heard stories about my dad doing such amazing things, and I never really got to see that. That still has continued to this day. I still get stories, I still get people, family, friends, co-workers of my dad who say what a great person he was and what great things he did, and it still feels empty. It feels like a shell of what I received, but you know, I don't think it's ever really gonna stop being a thing. So it just kind of is. My dad was very well known in his industry, and because of that, or at least here in the area, he was very well known, and because of that I do run across people quite frequently who know exactly who he was, and I still to this day get that kind of sentiment of, oh, you're his son. It's like, yep, that was my dad. I tend to shy away a lot of times whenever the topic comes around to my dad, especially if it's somebody that I know who might have known him or might have crossed paths at some point. I always tend to not want to enter into that conversation or have that realization, because like I said, it does feel very empty, so it's kind of hard for me to come across that situation. There are daily reminders of him and daily reminders of the fact that I miss him, maybe not so much him himself, but the thought of having a dad or the thought of having a father. I know there are still a lot of people my age who still have both parents. They're doing really well and still very healthy. So it's upsetting that that's not really a thing anymore for me. I think one of the biggest moments that kind of sticks out in my mind of when I got a slap in the face of remembrance of him was it was Christmas Eve, the year he passed away, and my aunt was over with my mom and I, and we opened up a box to hang our stockings by the chimney. And I don't know why I didn't think about this. I don't know why it never even crossed my mind, but as we opened the lid to where the stockings were, his stocking was sitting right on top. And it was just kind of shocking and jarring to realize, oh yeah, he's not here anymore. And like I said, I don't know why I didn't think that his stocking would be in there. It just didn't cross my mind, but especially for it to be the one on the very top, as soon as we opened the box, it was such a surprise and really got to me. Even 2 years later, Mom and I are still going through all of his stuff, mostly Mom, but we're still having to get rid of a lot of things. He was a hoarder, and so we're going through a lot of his things to try to figure out new homes or sell or trash or where everything goes. There's still an attic full of stuff of his that will have to go, it'll have to be gone through and figure out what we're gonna do with this stuff. So another thing that I want to remind everybody is, like, think about, and obviously not everybody has to live the minimalist life. I'm not saying that we need to do that. But, you know, think about what your legacy is going to be, and think about like what you're leaving behind for your family, friends, and relatives to go through. And, you know, if you're a hoarder, it can be very difficult for the people left behind, because that's a huge burden to try and figure out what to do with all of this stuff, especially since some of this equipment is very heavy and very expensive equipment that I know it's going to take some time to figure out the right home for it. I have talked a little bit about depression on my Instagram and my struggles with depression. Sometimes I feel when I get depressed and have depression get a hold of me, it's mostly when I'm tired or just worn out, and that's when it really grabs a hold. But I want you to know that it's okay, and you know, we need to lean on each other and support each other, because that's what helps make this happen. That's what helps get us through these times. And yes, always talk to your doctor, seek medical advice from your doctor, from a therapist, from you know, there's so many great resources out there, so try to find what's right for you. But know that you have many people in your life who are right there, ready to lend a hand. We still get phone calls for my dad. Those can be very awkward, and honestly, I tend to have a little fun with them, because most of the time they're telemarketers or scammers or stuff like that. So most of the time I end up having fun with them, and you know, when you reveal that that person is dead, that really kind of surprises them and takes them aback, and most of the time they just hang up on me. Life hasn't been the same, and it never will be the same since his passing, but I know that each day it gets a little easier and a little better to navigate my way through. I'll always have him in my heart, and he'll always be a piece of me that I'll take to the grave with me, but it definitely gets a little easier every day. So some advice for people who may need to hear it. I don't know who those people are, but you know, you may need to hear this. Don't be surprised if people don't stick around or check in as often as you would like them to, or want them to, or hope for them to. You know, don't rely on other people. You've got to be able to be that rock and support yourself sometimes. Luckily enough, Mom and I support each other, and we have my aunt as well, so that helps out a lot. Something that has helped with this process is just getting distracted by daily life and all the responsibilities and fun things and everything in between that happen in daily life. So take every day and treat it as a special day, because every day on Earth is pretty awesome. I did finally go see my dad at the gravesite, and I actually didn't see it for over a year since his passing, but I was able to finally go and see it, and you know, I thought I would have more of an emotional reaction at his gravesite, but it was just good to know where he is, and that I know where he is and where his plot is now. I don't really know what else to say in this video. I just kind of wanted to give an update on what's been going on, and the biggest thing is to let others know you're not alone. We're all going through this together, and make sure to reach out to your loved ones when you're struggling, or even if you just are barely on that struggling bus, you know, make sure to reach out. And you're not alone. You're not going through this alone. Other people are going through this exactly the same way you are. So if you have any advice that you want to share with people, or just want to comment, leave that down in the comment section below. I love reading all of your comments, and I especially love hearing your suggestions and your information. And you know, we can learn so much from people who have already gone through this process. So, you know, make sure to go down into that comment section and see what other advice people are leaving. It's hard to believe that it's already been 2 years, but I know each day gets a little easier. I hope everybody has a great day, and remember guys, normal is just the setting on the dryer. Bye.